York Giants make a couple of signings in the secondary as they signed Bobby McCain, formerly of the Washington Commanders, to a one-year deal. And they also signed Leonard Johnson to a three-year contract. He tore his ACL heading into the 2022 NFL Draft, and so the former Duke product, and there was overlap with Daniel Jones, is now in the fold. And, I think with Leonard Johnson, it's kind of more of a developmental acquisition. With McCain, I think the hope might be that he's probably the replacement for Julian Love. And so, I debated whether, Jason Pinnock or Dane Belton, and I think that it's probably an open competition, but I think McCain, who the last two seasons was a starting safety for the Washington Commanders, he started 32 of 34 games and played all 34 games the last two seasons. He is now staying in the division. He's a Giant. So I guess effectively the Giants in Washington kind of swapped Nick Gates and Bobby McCain. And McCain was a Miami Dolphin for the first 6 years of his career. Was a Dolphin from 2015 to 2020. And he was a fifth-round pick. So he's done a nice job of staying in the league and, being a starter. And it's funny, McCain's only touchdown was against the Giants in 2021 against Jake Fromm, that memorable last game of the season, Joe Judge's last game as Giant head coach. And McCain, that's his one career touchdown. But for McCain, again, a bit undersized, but seems versatile. From what I can tell, he seems like someone that, can fill that Julian Love role. Now, Love, played a ton of snaps. I think he played the most snaps on the defense this year, and McCain's played 93% of the snaps the last two seasons. So he's durable, which you can't overstate that. Again, for sure undersized and, definitely not young at this point, right? He's going to be 30 this coming season, and we'll see. Again, I think that there are some other, younger players that if McCain doesn't, come through, you have other options. But I think this is a pretty good move on a one-year deal. I like this, and I think that he can definitely be a contributor on this team and a good leader as well. He was a team captain on the Miami Dolphins, and I do think that he, will fit in nicely with the Giants. Now, as far as Leonard Johnson is concerned, Johnson, like I said, he graduated from Duke, was, expected to be in the 2022 NFL Draft, but tore his ACL. And so this is a 3-year contract. So, they definitely see something in him. It doesn't hurt probably that, again, he was teammates with Daniel Jones. It didn't get him, this signing with the Giants, but I'm sure, I'm sure maybe Jones put in the good word. But for Johnson, I think, look, you can never have enough cornerbacks, and that's a position of weakness right now for the Giants. It really is. I would say that the depth there, you're not really sure what you have. Obviously, there's Adoree Jackson, but really beyond that, it's definitely a bit of a question mark. And, and McCain, as much as he is versatile, I think that he is seen, as more in that safety role. Even though I'm sure if things got desperate, they could probably move him over, which is nice. But who knows? Maybe Leonard Johnson impresses at training camp. And of course, look, for a guy like him, there's no guarantees that he makes the team. But again, the fact he would seem to be someone that, if nothing else, would end up on the practice squad. It does seem like he's someone that the Giants organization does value. I don't know much about him, but seems like the physical traits are there. And like I said, with the cornerback room that is light, maybe he emerges. Maybe he emerges somehow as someone who, really gets, real game action in the regular season. But, I think McCain is definitely more of the story here out of the two signings because, of course, McCain, has been a starter in this league. And recently, really, he's been basically a regular starter for the last 5 seasons, where the first 3 years in Miami, he it was a mix between starting and coming off the bench. But the thing that I notice here more than anything is basically every year he's playing every game. It would appear as if he had an injury in 2019 because he played half the season then. Besides that, he's basically playing almost every game. So McCain, stays in the division. The Giants poach him essentially from Washington. I think it's probably one of those things where Washington isn't overly upset to lose him. I haven't yet seen their reaction, but this was, definitely notable enough that I wanted to discuss it. And so, now when you look at the Giants' needs, I still think that, the secondary is one of the needs, but certainly as well right now, probably offensive line is just a little bit of a bigger one. Defensive line as well. Will the Giants sign Ashawn Robinson? I think that still remains to be seen. It's possible, but nothing's guaranteed. And then I still go back to, maybe not having that top wide receiver, and I still would want to draft wide receiver if it becomes available early in the draft. But the Giants trying to plug some holes, Joe Schoen doing what he can, and that's what he did by yesterday signing Leonard Johnson and today signing Bobby McCain.